The Last Days of New Paris by China Miéville. Read for you by Ralph Lister. One overhears many reactions to surrealist art, but the most pathetic of all is from those who ask, what am I supposed to see and feel from this? In other words, what does Papa say I may think and feel about this? Grace Palethorpe on the importance of fantasy life. Chapter 1, 1950. A street in lamplight. Beyond a wall of ripped-up city, the Nazis were shooting. Past the barricade and a line of tailors' mannequins assembled in a crude and motionless can-can, Thibault could see the khaki of scattering Wehrmacht men, grey dress uniforms, SS black, the blue of the Kriegsmarine, all lit up by the flares of weapons. Something sped along the Rue de Paradis, weaving in a howl of rubber between bodies and ruins, coming straight at the Germans. 2 women on a tandem? They came very fast on big wheels. The soldiers shot, reloaded, and ran because the rushing vehicle did not turn or fall under their onslaught. There was a whir of chains. Only one woman rode, Thibault made out. The other was a torso, jutted from the bicycle itself, its moving prow, a figurehead where handlebars should be. She was extruded from the metal. She pushed her arms backward, and they curled at the ends like coral. She stretched her neck and widened her eyes. Thibault swallowed and tried to speak, and tried again and screamed, "It's the Velo!" At once his comrades came. They pressed against the big window and stared down into the city gloom. The amateur of velocipedes, lurching through Paris on her thick-spoked wheels, singing a song without words. My God, Thibault thought, because a woman was riding her, and that absolutely should not happen. But there she was, gripping the Velo's wrist with one hand, pulling with the other on leather strapped tight around the cycle centaur's throat. The Velo moved faster than any car or horse, any devil Thibault had yet seen, swaying between the facades, dodging bullets. She tore through the last of the men and the line of figurines they'd arranged. She raised her front wheel and hit the barricade, mounted the meters of plaster, stone, bone, wood, and mortar that blocked the street. She rose. She hurled into the air above the soldiers, arced up, seeming to pause, falling at last through the invisible boundary between the 9th and 10th arrondissement. She landed hard on the surrealist side of the street. The Velo bounced and twisted on her tires, slid sideways. She came to a stop, looking up at the window of the Man à Plume's hideout, straight into Thibault's eyes. He was first out of the room and down the splintering steps, almost falling from the doorway out into the darkening street. His heart shook him. The passenger was sprawled on the cobbles where her mount had bucked. The Velo reared above her on her hind wheel like a fighting horse. She swayed. She looked at Thibault with pupil-less eyes the same color as her skin. The Manie flexed her thick arms and reached up to snap the cord around her neck and let it fall. She rocked in the wind. Thibault's rifle dangled in his hands. At the edge of his vision he saw Elise lob a grenade over the barricade in case the Germans were regrouping. The explosion made the ground and the barrier tremble, but Thibault did not move. The Velo tipped forward, back onto both wheels. She accelerated toward him, but he made himself stay still. She bore down and her wheels were a burr. Adrenaline took him with the certainty of impact, until on a final instant too quick to see, she tilted and passed instead, so close to him that Thibault's clothes were tugged in the rush of her air. Tires singing, the cycle presence wove between the shattered buildings of the Cité des Trevises, into ruins and shadows, out of sight. Thibault at last exhaled.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?